Hello, everyone. My name is Wendy Myers. Thank you so much for joining the Live to 110 podcast. You can find me and learn more about me at live to110.com. Our guest today is Claus Pummer. He is the president of Natural by Design, his own home furnishings company, and the managing director, general importer of Samina North America. A native of Frankfurt, Germany, Pummer was raised in a traditional European household by artisan parents with strong values for everything organic and natural. In his adolescence, he pursued an apprenticeship and attained the top status of master cabinet maker. For years, Pummer worked in Switzerland and New Zealand, perfecting his cabinetry and woodworking skills before immigrating to Canada in 1998, where he founded Natural by Design in Toronto. His Pummer trademarked furniture line includes outdoor furniture and solid wood crafted pieces. In his customary manner to pursue excellence in all of his offerings, he began searching for the best beds to complement his solid wood bed frames. His research led him to Samina in Austria. He first became a Samina sleeper himself, and impressed with Samina's healthy sleep system and design, this inspired him to pursue training at the Austrian Institute for Sleep Psychology, where he became a certified sleep advisor under the mentorship of Dr. Gunther Amon Jensen, a world-renowned expert in sleep psychology. Pummer applied the sleep principles he learned to his own lifestyle and began sharing this knowledge with others. He passionately believes in sleep as the foundation to health. You can learn more about him and his website at justhealthysleep.com. Please keep in mind that the Live to 110 podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or health condition. This podcast is not a substitute for professional medical advice. The Live to 110 podcast is solely informational in nature, so please consult your healthcare practitioner before engaging in anything that we suggest today on the show. Claus, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
You're more than welcome.
Why don't you tell the listeners a little about yourself and your background?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Germany, so I do have a very strong accent, and you have to pace me down, otherwise I talk like all the Germans very, very fast. So born and raised in Germany, in Frankfurt. My upbringing was I earned my master degree in woodwork in Germany and in Switzerland. And then in 1998, I decided to leave my home country to start a new life in Toronto, Canada, where I resigned the last 15 years. And then being in Canada for 15 years, what is a wonderful country. But with extended winter times, up to 6 months, I decided to open up a second location in the United States, in Dallas, Texas. And then 2 years later, this leads me now all the way back to Pasadena, where I currently live full-time and open up a retail store and running the North American office for Samina.
Hey, you're right near me. You're about 20 minutes from me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so why do we need to sleep in the first place? I mean, obviously people spend a third of their lives in bed, so very important to have proper sleep and proper sleep hygiene and the right environment for sleep and the right bed. So that's really the focus of our talk today. So why do people need to sleep in the first place?
Yeah, so there's hundreds of reasons why we have to sleep. Even doctors and scientific people did not find out all the reasons. For sure, we do know we need sleep to restore our immune system, our organs. We need a place to feel safe and secured. What's happening in our environment. And we have to make sure we get ready for the next day to be active. While we principle have two lives. We have this active life and we have this passive life. The active life starts when sunrise and ends most likely with sunset. And then our passive life starts. So we have this circadian rhythm. And unfortunately, in the modern society, in our modern lifestyle, we already violated this rule a lot in extending our daytime to late evening hours working on computers with the source of light fixtures, right? And so we shorten our sleep. And then, of course, we having missing sleeping hours. And again, when we have missing sleeping hours, this maybe can lead to health-related issues in a very slow amount of time frame, and we don't really know, is this coming from there or is this maybe coming from something else? And what we really want to do is we want to bring awareness how important sleep is. And for myself, doing this for more than 20 years now, I definitely see a connection with not sleeping and people's physical and mentally health.
Oh, yes. I did an amazing podcast with Dr. Washington about how sleep actually robs your immune system of energy. And when your immune system doesn't function, you get sick. You get cancer, diabetes, autoimmune disease, and 100% is proven lack of sleep causes disease directly.
Yes.
And so, what are some common mistakes or misconceptions people have when it comes to sleep?
Yeah, first of all, the mindset is not there to go to bed. I always tell people a very funny sentence. You don't need an alarm clock to wake up in the morning. You do need an alarm clock to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
First of
I
all.
don't need an alarm clock, but I
No.
do. It takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah,
People are like
so
kids. They don't
we
want to go
get
to bed.
we get sidetracked. We finish with a little bit work. We stuck in traffic. All of a sudden, we home an hour later, half an hour. We want to go to the gym maybe, and then we have a later dinner. We didn't see our spouse. We didn't see the kids. So there's hundreds of excuses to not go to bed. But I really think it's important to really set your time so the body knows it's time to go to bed. And there is a big issue. Our organs don't have a clock. There is no clock for our organs. Our kidney, our liver, our heart, our immune system does not know what time it is, but they have a natural rhythm as well. And this is the function what we cannot interfere with it. So when we do extend our sleep time for 2 or 3 hours, we rubble up our whole entire body, and maybe some of the organs don't even never restore themselves while they already passed the time to do so, while we're being still awake. So the biggest mistake is people don't go regularly in bed. And even, with weekends, it does not is an excuse to me when you sleep in or go early to bed Saturday, Sundays, or actually you stay long up on Friday and Saturdays and you have longer sleeping hours in the morning while you don't go to work. This doesn't help anyway. We should have 7 days, 365 days a year, almost like the same bedtime and the same wake up time. This is the best for our human body and for our organs and immune system. So this is the biggest issue. Second of all, some people tell me they don't think it's very sexy to go early to bed. And I think this is the opposite effect. You want to go to a date with a man who is totally sleep deprived and looks like shit? I don't think so. I think everybody would enjoy to have a date with someone who actually has a restful sleep the night before and he's full alert and he pays attention to the conversation and you have an engaged and a good time together, right? So we have to work on this. And then, of course, our sleeping environment is not a proper sleeping environment more. Bedrooms are not truly bedrooms anymore. We do already understood we spend a third of time in bed, and then this automatically tells us we spend a third of time in this room. And the room is most likely in the second floor in the house or in one of the areas when you live in a condominium or in other buildings in one part of the area of one of the house. And then we spend a third of life in this one specific room, but we have a very nice organized kitchen. Our living room is all sparkly. Our front entrance is organized. So, but the bedroom, it's a mess. So we definitely have to point this out. People don't really take bedrooms serious enough as a room where I spend so much time, but this is the case. And also the most important piece of furniture in your house is obviously the mattress. It's our hardware for good night's sleep. And then, of course, when you're looking into the room, there can be mistakes made with curtains, too much light exposure, too much electronics or any electronics in the bedroom, the wrong mattress from the beginning for various reasons. Again, the bedroom became an office and I look at all night at my computer. Or, the bedroom became a play area for the kids, and I look at all the messy toys for my kids when they're to bed. And again, those are the most common issues, I think.
Yes, and so you talked about electronics in the bedroom. Why do you advise people to not have any electronics in their bedroom?
The electronics actually is a really big deal these days. Electronics, as some listener will know, and you, of course, electronic have electrofields, magnetic field, and radio frequencies. Depends what kind of device we using at this present time. And those devices are sending frequencies. And the human body contains 80% of moisture. So we are highly conductive to this exposure of electromagnetic and radio frequencies. And last not least, we either not touching the earth while we lie in bed, or we're wearing shoes while we stand on hardwood floor or other surfaces. And anytime we have a disconnect from Earth, we are not able to release positive neutrons and get the very important negative neutrons from Earth. So the problem started in industrial age with giving us electricity to extend the nighttime to daytime. So we're violating the first law, right? The second problem was the invention of shoes, disconnect us from Earth. And then, of course, modern lifestyle with Wi-Fi, cell phone towers, hospital, the police, the fire departments, everything, airports has frequencies. We call them, they're most likely running on 4 gigahertz. 4 gigahertz stands for 4 billion hertz. And our heart simply runs on the Schumann frequency, what is 6.78 hertz. So even without being a scientist, what I'm not, the numbers don't sound nice to me and they don't make any sense to me. Say roughly 7 hertz all the way up to 4 billion hertz. When you are in this kind of exposure, there should be some harm to the human body. Then whoever was creating us, most likely 2,000 years ago, did not know we have electricity at some point, right? And no one knows we had cell phone and Wi-Fi either. And the human body adapted during the last 2,000 years a lot, but our body never really adapted fully in regards of our own bioelectrical system. We have a bioelectrical system what actually runs our cells. We have about 7 billion of cells, and they need a very small amount of electricity. This electricity is created from us walking with being active with our muscles, and our muscles are creating this small amount of current what we need to make sure our body creates new cells and kills the bad cells and stays in balance. And when all of a sudden we are consistently bombarded with a frequency, and the problem is what you don't see, what you don't smell, and what you don't hear, you don't think it's an issue. But there is devices, and I'm using them frequently when I do home consultation in areas where I am, to really show people how much exposure of electromagnetic field and radio frequencies are in their bedrooms. And there actually are very strict guidelines. Those guidelines are not acknowledged from any government in the world. But for example, with my German background and living in Germany for 25 years, there is a German guideline in the world of people who are considering this issue. We should have less than 100 millivolt in our sleeping areas on our human body. And the reality is, after my experience for more than 15 years measuring this in conventional bedrooms in Canada or United States, or in Germany, I do find readings on non-metal mattresses from 1500 millivolt to 2000 millivolt. And on metal spring mattresses, we find 2500 millivolt all the way up to 5000 millivolt.
Wow.
And this is definitely much higher than the German European guideline. Again, this is a guideline what is not acknowledged by the governments. But this is definitely a guideline what very many functional and integrated doctors are pointing out. And one of the most well-known person here in the United States is Dr. Professor Dietrich Klinghardt in Seattle. He definitely sees a direct connection with the high exposure of electromagnetic field and radio frequencies to his problem. He cures Lyme disease and mold exposure and chemical sensitivity, and in general any chronic diseases. And anytime I visit one of his seminars or hear him talking to other doctors, he really points out this is a very strict guideline to enforce.
Yeah, I love his work because he has 3 tenets that are underlying causes of diseases: toxins, yes, infections, and energy disruption of the body. And anyone who's sick who has to address those 3 things. It's so important. And so many people are sleeping on metal spring mattresses. Yeah. And like you said, these are they conduct electromagnetism and affect our health. And it's so you are an advocate for Samina beds, the Samina yes, sleep system. Mm-hmm. And so can you tell us a little about that? And, why you guys have created this amazing bed that does not use metal spring mattresses and kind of solves some of these issues people are dealing with in their mattress.
Yeah. First of all, I want to point out for regard of the metal spring mattresses. The metal spring mattresses are created about 1910, so it's a really, really old product, and some of the companies using this as a selling feature. And I didn't see an issue in the beginning of our industrial age. So there was definitely a place for metal spring mattresses in the beginning of our century to use them, while they definitely gave people comfort what they didn't have before. And there was a certain spinal support, and there was some certain airflow. And in the olden days, they almost used more organic materials than what we're using our industrial age. So, but unfortunately, the conventional mattress industry, metal-based, did not really evolve and did not really look what changed it around us. And this is, I think, where the problem starts. So with Samina was created by Professor Dr. Arman Janssen, who was a psychologist in Austria 35 years ago. And he made a very interesting founding in his work to be a psychologist. So he had weekly meetings with patients, and they talked about health-related issue, family-related issue, personal related issue. So he had a huge amount of audience talking about this, and he gave them the advice to how to deal with them. But he looked at the characteristic of those people, and he found out all of them kind of have a trouble sleeping. They don't have either proper sleeping environment, they cannot sleep for unknown reason, and they're kind of tired. So he said, there is something wrong. I talk to these people all day long. They come back 3 weeks later, 2 months later, whenever the time was right for them. And we kind of started again where we left off. When I saw them the last time, while nothing really changed in their own environment, they did not start sleeping better, and things got stuck. So he said, I'm running around in a cycle here. I can give them all my advice and charge them the money, but this is not really doing anything. It's just too slow for me. So let me spend a little bit more time to research our ancestors. So it took him about 6 years to grab all the books, what he could find in various libraries. He talked to a lot of universities and health professionals in the German-speaking country to really research ancestors, how they slept. And he made this foundings, said, oh my God, our ancestors slept much better than we do. They did not live longer than us, while they had other issues. They had no home. They got killed by the cavemen, or there was a wild animal eating them in the nighttime, and they killed each other. But they had no chronic diseases, what was interesting, and they all definitely had a very interesting way to sleep. They slept inclined on a hill under a tree. They used a piece of leather skin on the floor on earth, so there was a direct contact to them on earth. They hardly wear any clothing except leather and skin and shoes and leather and maybe fur and stuff, and some basic cotton clothing. And they stayed outside in God's air, they don't have any really housing. So now, and then he said, this is kind of very interesting. So let me catch up on those different features, and let me see if I cannot create a sleep system what can bring the knowledge of nature. And nature is 100,000 times more powerful than us. And let's bring the wisdom of integrated and holistic medicine in the same subject and create a new holistic sleep system. And this is how he created Samina. So when you actually look at the Samina product, Samina sleep system, what is one of the smartest sleep system in the world, you can recognize the mattress comes in 4 different layers. And then as a scientist or as a medical doctor, why 4 different layers? Our human body has 4 different layers. So obviously we can follow in the entire way how our human body is built. So to quick the introduction of our layers, it's our skeleton, what is the core of our body. We have the second layer, our muscles, tissue, and joints. Our third layer will be our biological system. And our last layer is the biggest organ, our skin. And the Samina bed follows exactly in the same layer system. And each of the layers does something very specific during our passive life, what is considered called sleep.
Yeah, and that's very, very interesting that the Samina sleep system has these 4 layers, and you have a layer to protect against electromagnetic pollution. Yes. Can you talk a little about that?
Yes, absolutely. So the third layer called the earthing mat or grounding pad, and the contents of this product is actually 75% of pure silver. So it's a very high content of silver, and we do all know silver is a very expensive raw material. But silver is also a 10,000 times better conductor than the human body. This raw material silver, it's enclosed in organic wool layer of merino wool from German sheeps. And so what this means, we don't have a direct contact to this earthing pad. We have an indirect contact. So there's two principles out there for earthing, the direct earthing contact and the indirect contact. Dr. Professor Aman's findings was the indirect contact had additional benefits compared to the other solution what is available on the market. So, and also we have involved 14 magnets in this product who are they're coming from the German company in Stuttgart, and those magnets are north-south pole. While we do understand the issue in modern world, we do have a problem with our north and south pole. With building the way how we're building homes right now with huge amount of iron beams and cement, we do irritate Earth magnetic field. And of course, we're building more and more buildings, so we have less countryside and less wide land. So, however, with sleeping on the grounding pad is a pretty very simple way how this works with this 75% of pure silver under you and a 10,000 times better conductor and a permanent attachment to the outlet, to the sleeping area, what is only attached to the ground on the outlet. So we have actually 3 wires in any electrical outlets. We have the plus and the minus, and we do have the ground. The ground wire is most likely a yellow wire in most of the commercial wiring. And this yellow wires that go to the panel box to one side away for the breaker. And then in the panel box, there's a big round copper cable going to earth, and with a deep ground stick, it's drilled in the earth to give you the direct contact to earth. So what this does actually is the high amount of silver gives the electromagnetic field and radio frequencies a pathway to take all this exposure away from you. And the simple test is the body voltmeter, what I do use to measure this. The body voltmeter shows me the exposure with no grounding pad and with my grounding pad. And the readings are just outstanding low. They're under the guidelines, what we recommend in Europe. And then, of course, the customer the patients makes their own finding. Many of my customers who sleep grounded, and actually the grounding pad is a part what you can buy without the Samina sleep system. You can buy this as a separate piece and put it on any conventional bed to when you're really concerned about your own exposure at this present time. My customer tell me they are all start dreaming better. So then what the dream has to do, we come back to Professor Armand Janssen's story as a psychologist. When you start dream on a regular basis, even there are the worst nightmares every night for I don't know how long, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This is a very, very good sign, and this works. Grounding is working.
And when people start grounding themselves, they also have less pain and less inflammation, and
yes,
so many different benefits from that.
Yeah, and then you can actually really see this under a dark field microscopy. What everybody can get done with his family doctor, what is a very inexpensive way to check this out, how your blood cells are free-floating with no exposure from the electromagnetic field. And there's many studies made with our smart meters, what are installed in our homes now without really telling us. And I do use one image from smart meters and red blood cells, what you can find on the internet, but from some professors, you really see the smart meter already glues our red blood cells together, and this leads nothing else, less oxygen. And when we have less oxygen in our red blood cells, we are not able to recharge our organs and our immune system during the nighttime how we normally would do. And this is a silent disease, what leads to chronic diseases in the long-term exposure from 5, 10, 15, all the way up to 20 years. And then I want to point out, that there is now cell phones on the market where the manufacturer disables the head check, so you're not able to use a headset anymore, and you actually get forced indirectly to buy the matching device to put in your ear, what is running on a Wi-Fi signal again on the Bluetooth, communicating with your phone, and you put 2 little things in your ear, and they're running again on the frequencies, and you put it even closer to your brain. And then the left ear starts talking to the right ear, And I guess the modern technology will have no stop and no creation to make this problem even more worse for us than it already is.
Yeah, and it's impossible. Even if you say you take your home environment and you reduce all the EMFs that you can there, you get rid of your electric smart meter and your cell phone and your computer and do all this stuff, unplug everything, you still, when you walk around, you are
Yeah,
exposed to countless numbers of wireless internet and all kinds of things. So you have to do things at home like grounding.
yeah, yeah.
And that's one of the best things I think that you can do, and easiest
Yeah,
things
yeah,
to
yeah.
ground yourself every night for 8 hours.
Yeah, the grounding pad is easy, man. First of all, I give always free advice. You should for sure turn off your cell phone. Doesn't matter you have a grounding pad or not. There's no reason for any family member in the house to keep their cell phones on after they go to bed. There is also no reason for you to keep the wireless router on. We in bed, we don't need this device. We can save the exposure and the electricity. And when you're really good and your panel box is in a convenient location, you really can walk to your panel box and turn off the breakers in the bedroom. Doesn't matter you buy my grounding pad or any grounding pad whatsoever. We do recommend this regardless. Alone, so, mentally, this disconnects you really from life. And then, of course, take your shoes off during lunchtime and do be really grounded barefoot a half an hour and enjoy the sunshine and get vitamin D. There's no harm to do so. This is also a problem. Even at our lunch breaks, and our breakfast break, and even at dinner time, people sit indoor. And again, they're not. And this is California. We can sit outdoor here most of the year, and we should spend more time outdoor and really take shoes off under the dining table and find a piece of grass or dirt or whatever and be grounded. So this is Sims what you can do. But you're right. Our neighbor doesn't follow this advice. There's no sense to talk to your neighbors. We do have, of course, hospitals, fire department, police station around us. We have Wi-Fi. We have Wi-Fi towers everywhere in residential areas, while the building laws really didn't pay too much attention on those either. And now they're kind of covering them as palm trees so people don't see them. But they're most likely lower than 15 meters, what creates the issue for the resident who lives around almost 1 mile. So you can make a very smart decision where you move to. You can find the app on the phone and find all your cell phone towers in your neighborhood and make a personal decision on the house, what you want to purchase, where I purchase my house, how far I want to be away. In the city, we cannot avoid it, but there's definitely good pockets and bad pockets. So you
Yeah.
can pay a little bit more attention on some of the details.
I checked mine and I have 450 cell phone towers.
Wow. Serious?
Yeah, it's so bad.
Wow.
So
This is
bad.
bad.
So, yeah.
So that you need to sleep grounded. With this exposure, it's again. I'm not saying this happened to all of us. We don't know how resistant we are. And of course, only sleeping grounded does not fix the Samina sleep system. It's magic, but it's not 100% magic solution either. When you don't have proper nutrition, you don't have proper exercise, you have the proper mindset, you have a proper family life and a social life, right? And there's many things around us what create issues with our general health. But again, the most important room is the third of 25 years we spend in bed. So there's definitely a big deal attached to it, and we should definitely work on this first before we maybe do some other stuff. Then it's also very interesting when people have trouble sleeping, they make very bad decisions, either nutrition-wise or exercise-wise. I see this over and over again. I do have customer buying a Samina bed and start sleeping in it, and 2 or 3 weeks later, they're telling me this is the first time I woke up in the morning and went to the gym. I didn't do this for the last 5 years. While I was tired and exhausted, I didn't feel like it. And I know a lot of people who have trouble with their nutrition and they have a late snack and they open up the fridge and eat, 5 minutes before they go to bed, they have something else, they nibble on something. If this is good or bad, they still start nibbling. And then they're saying, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going earlier to bed. I sleep now through the night. I don't have any grabbing for food. So there's a lot of things indirectly revolve with better sleeping. And I think this is a good way to start. But I think the Samina system is way more than, only the earthing. It starts already with our skeleton. Most of the couples actually, they don't sleep in the same bed anymore. What creates also another issue maybe for your marriage, right? And the reason they don't sleep in bed, they have different times to go to bed. They have different body habits in bed, and they have different issues, maybe snoring or sleep apnea. And a conventional bed has a really, really hard time to address actually back pain and back issues, while most of the conventional beds creating a very nice ditch. It's like, a really, really nice ditch, especially when there's substantial weight difference between the spouses, what happens very often, right? It's not like, we all different. We have different body heights, we have different body shapes, and we do different body weights. So female and male are different, and male and male are different, and female are different. So our partners are not look like we look. So a Samina system is actually divided underneath. And those double layer from wooden slats, they actually look like, or they're acting like a trampoline. And when I'm getting bored on my trade shows, as you remember, I enjoy jumping down and up.
Yeah, I know. I met you at the Bulletproof conference, Dave Asprey's Bulletproof conference, and
Yes.
was just blown away by this Samina sleep system. And I love it that you have one half that has its own system of wooden slats, and the other
Yes.
side has its own system, so that when one person is moving around, they're not disturbing the sleep of the other person on the other
Another
side.
person. And the issue is, of course, with orthopedically, our spine has 26 vertebral discs, and we have those discs here. This is like here my hand, bone on bone, right? And when you sleep in a ditch, then they're squeezed together, and the nerve, what is in the middle there, it sends a little signal to the brain with the minor thing, please turn me over to the side. And then 2 seconds later, please turn me over to the stomach. And then please turn me over to the back. This is the first symptom. But the biggest symptom is this pain will also create pain. This nerve will create pain. What you will recognize in your brain as pain, and this makes this discomfort. So with this consistently pressure under our 26 vertebral disc, we never can fix this problem. A Samina sleep system brings your spine in this natural S-shaped curve, what is standing position. And think about it, you hardly complain about back pain when you stand. I don't know anyone who complains about in standing position to have pain. Absolutely not. Anytime I'm sitting in my office chair, I lounge on my couch too long, I'm driving my car for a long distance, or I go to bed, I create a discomfort, right? And then all of a sudden, our back muscles, they're still in the way too. Our muscles know this already, and they want to prevent our spine to fall in this natural S-shaped curve. So they're consistently under pressure to hold our human muscle tone together to make sure we are tight. But our muscles want to go to sleep too. They're tired from all day. And especially when you do your exercise and you're regularly going to the gym, you're actually using your muscles and your muscle tone, and they want to rest. They need rest to regenerate. Again, when you work out extensively, and we have this problem with our professional athletes, they have so much activities and they play so many tournaments, their muscles have human inflammation consistently only from the subject, their work, they're making too much, not even thinking about the electromagnetic fields they're exposed to. This is the second deal. But alone this, so our muscles want to sleep, and in a Samina bed, the Samina wooden slats actually take the work away from the back muscles to hold you on space. And a simple test, what you experience as well, Wendy, is when I try to get my hand under your lower back in a Samina bed, it's impossible. Your butt is pushing down, your shoulder blade is pushing down, and the wooden slats under your lower back are pushing tight against the human body.
Yeah, I have this problem because I have a bulging disc in my
Mm-hmm.
S1, and if I ever, turn over and sleep on my back, I wake up because it starts hurting because, it's just your back is flat when it should be curved. And so I get that pain signal I have to turn over, and it's very, very frustrating because once I wake up, I have a trouble going back to sleep, like a lot of people. And I love that the Samina sleep system, mimics and follows the natural curve of the bodies. It's brilliant.
Yeah. So then the second layer is then our joints, tissue, and muscles, and this is really designed for pressure points. We do experience pressure points in bed, so this means, this restless leg syndrome or your arm fall to sleep. This is nothing else than a pressure point. A good night's sleeper turns regardless 70 to 80 times in the nighttime, but this movement is actually very minor, and you are actually in a stage of deep sleep, so you actually don't recognize this movement. You only recognize this in the morning when you start dreaming, and most likely I find myself in the morning in a different position than when I went to bed. Right after my dream in the morning, I will wake up and then I know I'm on my side for a short time of period. But most likely I'm a 90% of back sleeper since I sleep in a Samina bed, what is actually now more than 18 years, quite a while. And the pressure points is the issue. When you have these pressure points from any kind of material under you and you stop the blood circulation, you will wake up again. And then maybe your deep sleep was not deep enough and you have to go to the washroom. And then there's too much light, you kind of ruin the night again. So
Yes.
and this is a very thin layer. Conventional mattresses, there is also organic mattresses out here in the United States, in Canada, and any other country. They contain 9 to 11 inches of natural rubber. This is definitely a way to go to, but you're still missing the huge benefits from spinal support, our grounding pad, and our additional layer of merino wool. But this is definitely a good start. It's way better than any of the conventional metal spring mattresses. At least it's metal free, and you do try to have organic material under you. So I definitely give those people a credit too. In our case, the rubber is only 3 inches. Is all what we need. Then the third layer would be the grounding pad, what we already described to our listener. And the last layer is actually a really, really big deal. And I will not give up on this one, while the last layer contains only pure merino wool from German sheep. So again, this is the biggest organ, our skin. And what does our skin in the nighttime? Our skin is there for detoxifying and releasing heat and temperature regulating. And this is a function what does not happen in any of the conventional petroleum-based beds or synthetic-based beds. You have to need a proper function for get rid of the overheat. Then think about it. When we're active, we're running around, our body temperature is higher. In the moment you get to passive life, our heartbeat goes down, the heart rate goes down, the pulse goes down. We want to release heat. When we overheat, in the first 45 minutes to try to sleep, you will not sleep through the night. When there is nothing organic in your bed, everything is kind of more or less synthetic, you start sweating while nothing can absorb human moisture and takes this heat away from you. So the human body actually starts sweating more and starts sweating more. And then more detoxifying is more sweat is coming. What is not a big deal when something is breathable and takes it away, but this becomes a big deal when all of a sudden the moisture can stay in your bed and finds a hiding space. And the hiding space most likely is when the moisture travels to the synthetic layers, what they will do, while they're not 100% airtight either. And there is, of course, stitching and stuff. So when the moisture goes in there with the combination of your dead skin cells, what we do have in our skin, we losing about 100,000 skin cells in the nighttime. Depends what kind of body hygiene you have. For example, last Sunday I went to a Korean bathhouse and I got a Korean style body rub for 30 minutes with a dry sponge. What hurts a lot on a dry skin,
Yeah.
but I get rid a lot of my dead skin cells and it feels damn good after I'm done, while everything is kind of working proper and there is some action going on. So however, the combination between dead skin cell and moisture is a perfect heaven for our house dust mites.
Yes.
They like to eat this product and drink it, and then they do a very simple thing what all humans do. They start pooping. And the house dust might poop in your bed, and there's a lot of poop. And when we wonder how come we have allergies and stiffy nose in the morning and itchiness in our face, that's all from house dust might poo.
Yeah, my old mattress is a prime example of this. I had this mattress, I paid about $4,000 for it, and just a conventional synthetic mattress. And I had it for probably 13 years. And at the end of that time period, it was so heavy because
Yep.
it was just this huge, disgusting sponge full of my dead skin cells and
Yeah.
toxins. It's totally disgusting. It took like 3 men to
Yeah.
carry it out because it was so heavy. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
It had
Yeah.
this Homer Simpson lump in it where my
Yeah. Yeah.
body slept that was indented in the mattress.
Yeah, so Dr. Klinghardt is a good one. Anytime I hear him talking, and actually he did some testing on it, he found out in average a mattress gains in a year 6.7 pounds. This is Dr. Klinghardt's magic number. And so your mattress was heavy from the beginning anyway, but then make them have 13 years by 7 pounds. This is 100 pounds. It's a human body, right? So you had a third person sleeping in your bed.
Yes, yes.
Um,
A human being worth of mite poop.
Yeah, but what's happened with the Samina products are not, they're all exposed to the environment. Nothing is really enclosed. We only use organic certified cotton. We have this German merino wool. The reason is we're very, very picky with our sheeps, for all the animal lover and vegans. Our sheeps get washed by hand 3 days before we shear the wool, to make sure the high contents of the lanolin, the fat of the wool, exist, and we don't have to use any byproducts, chemicals. We do know in countries like New Zealand, Australia, Turkey, other European countries, the really mass production of wool, it's a very cruel business. They have about 7 seconds time to shear the entire wool, and they always use a lot of chemicals to spray in the wool to make it ready for export in foreign countries, to make sure all the insects and whatever, well, they don't wash them by hand. So obviously, merino, when you see a sheep, it's this thick, heavy, this is 4 or 5 inches thick of wool. There's all of kind of creatures living in there. But in Germany, we can avoid this issue with washing them with natural hand soap. And then Samina is very picky. We only use the needle wool. What is the wool? What is on the back on the merino kind? The merino is the species of the sheep what we're using. And the back of the sheep has the most sun exposure. And sun is very important for all natural materials. And so this is the best, most expensive wool. And this wool is very, very hard to get, while the garment industry, the fashion industry, with all the high-end labels that try to purchase this wool to make the suits and the clothing out of it. But the owner of Samina has a very good relationship to the sheepers and to the raw sources. So we're spending a lot of time and effort to keep the quality of our wool where it is. And we will not make the shortcut and try to lower the product price to buy wool from other countries. And this is principle anyway. Samina does not do shortcuts. The product is maybe more expensive and maybe the most expensive mattress what you ever purchase in your life. But it's like all good things in life. When you spend more money in the beginning, you most likely can expect a longer time of use. And from the first second on, you sleep in a Samina bed, you start to experience benefits. And this is where I'm getting very curious. We spend so much time and effort in active life to be healthy. And this starts with our purchase of organic food. What takes effort, right? You cannot walk everywhere to find organic food. We have certain diets in mind, either paleo, Dave Asprey, Mark Hyman. There's many leaders who recommend certain diets, so we have to study the recipes and we have to make sure we buy accordingly to the recommendation. We do use our Vitamix, what takes a toll of us. To make a smoothie in the morning takes 10 minutes, right? Including you have to clean this thing and then you have to drink it. We do go to the gym, we do yoga. So it's all active passivities. We maybe really go outside in the sun and we walk around barefoot and we try to live a healthy life, right? This is all what we do in active. But anytime we go to bed, and we all go to bed every night, doesn't matter you go late or early, we still know we have to go to bed. And we're buying most mattress, whatever convenient at this present time. And that's the reason why those online mattress companies show up on the market. We do know mattress purchasing is a very unpleasant experience. And I agree with people when you go to a conventional bedding store where you see 50 mattresses, this looks like a morgue in there, like 50 dead people lying around there. And first of all, this doesn't smell nice, this doesn't look nice. And I would get totally confused what mattress to buy either, while I never could make a decision, right? In the 1 hour or maybe half an hour I have time. So now all these online sales companies show up to ship your mattress for free to your home. When you don't like it in 180 days, you turn it back, and then that's the end of the story, and you start over again. But what I'm saying is, when you buy a mattress, spend some time and really look into it. What are the benefits? What are the benefits for me personally? First of all, why I'm in the place to look for a mattress? Then I should think about it. You should make the math. I'm now, say for example, I'm 40 years old. I purchased the last 10 years 3 mattresses, so every 3.5 years I spent maybe $800 for each of them, so it's $3,000 in 10 years. When I spent $4,000 like you did, then I spent already $12,000, right? So make the math, how much money you spend in a certain time period, and then look into a product and see what is bugging me on the mattress. So really write down the list, and I want people to come to my store with a list of issues they have: back pain, sweating, discomfort, I cannot sleep. Name it. You name what problem is. You name me any problem. Even this has nothing to do with sleep. There is always a connection to sleep somehow. And then come with those numbers to us. And then we find out, first of all, look at this is how much you spend already. So we acknowledge this. And this is now maybe your solution to your issues. So let's really go over point by point and can see how much I can really help you to improve those issues. And hopefully I can address all of them. And hopefully you can do some minor lifestyle changes. Then again, what I said, nutrition, exercise, and a positive lifestyle should definitely lead to a better sleeping environment too. But let's do this all together and then make this decision based on facts and based on what you think you can really experience. And then all of a sudden you will turn around this passive life to full amount of benefits. While we are maxed out, we cannot do more things during the daytime. There is no way I can do one more thing what I'm doing right now. I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't.
Me neither. Yeah. And I was going to say that's why I love the Samina sleep system, because one of the problems I have during the night is I wake up because I'm hot. And with the Samina sleep system, because you have the merino wool wicking away moisture, and you have the wooden slats underneath that are breathable, and you recommend a bed frame where the slats lay on top of that, so there's air coming up underneath it. And a typical bed, you've got a box spring, so there's no breathing underneath you.
Yeah, actually, good story. I do deliveries, of course, on my own too, to really be back to normal life. The thing is, people don't know anymore what a good night's sleep is, right? Who sets the guideline? Everybody has his own personal guidelines, and I think 90% of people in the world don't know what a good night's sleep is. And actually, the owner and founder of Samina, he's a very big deal for him. He says everybody, except the Samina and the sleeper, knows what a good night's sleep is. We really have no benchmark there, right? No one really teaches us what standard we have. We have standards for other things in life. While there is our idols and there's our mentors and there's a common sense factor. But personally, what is for you a good night's sleep? Turning and tossing 200 times, sweating in bed. This doesn't consider for me to have a good night's sleep, right? Not dreaming is not a good night's sleep. So there's so many things. So what we want to do is we want to bring awareness what is really a good night's sleep. In one of my deliveries, I picked up the old mattress and there was cats in the house, and the cats are smart. They like to hide somewhere, right? So in this case, in the box foundation, the cats made their home. So there's about 6 cats hidden in the box foundation when we lift up the old mattress, and they're living in there. And you cannot even imagine what kind of exposure on cat hair we found under there. And, cats are, I know there's a lot of animal lover. I do love animals too. And I don't mind you have them, but animals should not be in your bedroom, period. The bedroom is not designed for animals. They should have their own room. They can either sleep outside or inside, depends what animal you're using. And they can be in any part of the house, but not in your personal room, while this might create an issue as well. However, it was very interesting for me. The box foundation is additional living space for cats. And then, of course, you cannot vacuum clean under there. So the dust exposure was huge. And, of course, the person who made this investment in Samina, she had trouble with allergies. And, of course, this comes from what I found there, and you're not being hygienically clean, right? It's also simple things, to have a shower before to go to bed. I know showering sometimes takes time away, like shaving, what takes 7 minutes in average. But, you sweat all day, you run around all day. We had outdoor pollution alone, and also disconnect from world. A quick 2 minutes cold shower or warm shower, whatever is your desire, will definitely make you a better sleeping environment and helps you sleep better in any bed, right? So there's a lot of things what should be done.
Yeah, I always take a shower before bed. I don't understand the waking up and taking a shower. I mean, I do, but I want to take a shower after my day when you've been dealing with toxins and chemicals and allergens and all kinds of stuff all over your body. You want to wash that off before you go to sleep and get into your bed.
Yes, absolutely.
And so let's talk about toxins.
Yeah.
So this for me is one of the biggest problems with mattresses are chemicals, fire retardants, formaldehyde, glues, solvents, and all kinds of other things that are even used in supposed organic mattresses.
Mhm.
So why is it important to have organic bedding and an organic mattress?
Yeah. Mine, again, all these products we talked about it, they have kind of an exposure, but maybe is harmful for the human body. It's pretty simple. Again, when you buy organic food, you will never buy food what had one of these contacts and you would put it in your mouth while you know it goes right in your body. And similar is with your sleeping environment. We should really pay attention to avoid so much chemicals and we can. And actually, the nature was very powerful. For example, naturally, merino wool is naturally can actually not burn. It's Flanders. It's fire resistant naturally. So nature already designed certain products to make it almost impossible to inflame. And synthetic materials, when they're especially when they're petroleum based, they burn much faster. For example, synthetic curtains in nightclubs, and when we heard about these horrible accidents in some of the nightclubs in the world where people die while there was someone smoked a cigarette and everything goes in flame. All the synthetic materials in our home furnishing product, in our couches, in our dining chairs, all the fabrics are used. And then, of course, in our mattresses. Lucky no one is really smoking in beds anymore, what was very popular in the 60s. And, so there's definitely one hazard less. But then again, this doesn't mean that, something can happen. And again, and naturally, it doesn't make sense to me, regardless of we are nature, humans are nature, we are nature. Should spend a lot of time outside. We are 90% of our time inside. What is the problem too? We spend way much time indoors and out instead of being outdoors. And we are nature, and nature should be surrounded with us. And this is what we want to do with Samina. We carefully researched those raw materials, those wooden slats from ash trees, the natural rubber from the rubber tree, what is a process under the Tala lane rubber principle, and the poor merino wool and the poor silver are all natural materials. They're not refined whatsoever. And with Samina, we also guarantee we not do any alteration after purchasing these products. And this is the problem what I see sometimes with maybe others, or maybe with some of the standards. We do know there's certain certification on the market. Most of the organic mattress company worldwide using the gold standards, but we use as well. But this doesn't mean after purchasing the raw material, there is something done to it. We have no control over this. So you as a consumer, you make your own findings and spend 20 times on a bed when you come to a showroom and open the product and really touch it with your hand and see if you have a chemical reaction and smell it and spend more time in it. See if you get a headache. Pay to this little tiny things a little bit more attention during this time and see if there's any negative effects or this feels only good. Energetically, we in the world of functional and integrated medicine, and energetically speaking, most of the people, doctors who I meet, they always give us big time hand up on the benefits on the Samina product, also energy wise. So, with muscle testing and other ways to test people, they see always the very extremely, extremely positive benefits to be surrounded in this product.
Yeah, and I had a really bad experience with a Tempur-Pedic mattress. I bought this, which is the memory foam type mattress. I bought one well over 20 years ago, and I got it because your body sinks into it. And I thought, oh, this is amazing, and I slept so good on it initially. But I noticed when I got it, it smelled horrifying because of all of the chemicals that are used to make the materials in the memory foam. And even when I would put sheets on it, I could still smell that smell. And then you're breathing that in for 8 hours, and people wonder why they feel like crap when they wake up in the morning and then eventually get sick. And I eventually just gave it to a friend. I think I spent $3,000 or $4,000 on it 20 years ago.
Yeah,
which was
that's a lot of money.
It's a fortune.
Fortune, yeah.
Yeah, and so a lot of people are buying mattresses they think are healthy for them. And if you're buying a mattress that is not organic, you are breathing in massive amounts of chemicals all night long, and it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and again, some people are lucky they will never have side effects. But And this is also what I say. The sleep, I know it's already important for various reasons. We know we spend a third of life. Why you not really spend the most money in your sleeping environment when you know you get so much benefits and you spend so much time? Sleep should be a luxury. It should be the most best thing, whatever you've done in your life, to go to bed and feel the material, to feel comfortable. In a Samina bed, especially, we do recommend to sleep naked for various reasons. Any kind of bras or underwear can interfere with your blood flow, and this maybe can lead also to cancer. Periods. Proper, bras is an issue right now. I learned a lot about bras these days with Dr. Ben Johnson, who was in our showroom the last weekend to talk about his new book. And, so sleep naked, be surrounded by 100% certified organic materials, and start this poor luxury, this surrounding of sleep. While again, you get so much time out of it. You can buy a $10,000 car, a $20,000 car. You can buy a Tesla for $120,000 car. What is fantastic to be environment friendly and not taking petrochemicals or petroleum to drive from A to B. But you still can drive with all the cars to any destination you desire. The only difference is the comfort. And we do pay attention on it, right? But the comfort of the bed, we pay a little bit attention. I heard people, oh, this is comfortable. That's not good enough for me as a holistic sleep coach. I want you to tell me the Samina bed is comfortable, but way more important, this feels right and I get benefits, and I'm sure there is nothing harming me. This is the important. To be comfy on a mattress for a short time, this is a very easy thing to fix. Anytime you buy your mattress, you feel better the first couple of days or months. But then long-term use, make sure you really get those benefits from it.
Well, I have a question I like to ask all of my guests. Yeah. What do you think is the most pressing health issue in the world today?
Yeah, I definitely would say human inflammation. To be disconnected from Earth, to wear shoes all day long and be surrounded by our Wi-Fi and our cell phones. This, I think, is the biggest deal. The impact is not really known yet. There's a lot of studies in the European world, especially from Sweden. And very interesting, Sweden is a country from metal spring mattresses. A lot of good mattresses in the olden days were based out of Sweden and still are today. But in Sweden, we have a lot of scientists, and they show this over and over again. The exposure of this electromagnetic field in radio frequencies creates a huge entire problem for our general health. And I think the human inflammation, it's definitely putting a toll on us. When we have inflammation, we cannot heal proper. There's no question asked. And then also when we don't sleep proper, this becomes a cycle. So I think this is definitely a big deal. Nutrition, I think we're getting under control. There's a lot of good people out there talking about better nutrition, and the industry is changing now. We find way more option to buy organic foods and eat more healthy. There's plenty of spaces to do exercise. You can sign up on a gym in any corner, and you can do stuff on your own in the goddess nature. But in the sleep world, so it's way off. It's very interesting. I do a show once a year called Sleep 2016. This show found a place this year in Denver, Colorado, and this is a show where sleep doctors go, about 4,000 from around the world.
Oh wow!
And I asked all of them, how do you sleep? How many hours do you sleep? And the findings are incredible. So even my sleep doctor doesn't sleep. So when he doesn't sleep, how you think he wants to look after me? Not sleeping. And then I ask him, and then they asked me, what do you mean with organic? That they could not make this organic connection to the mattress and to the sleeping environment.
Wow, that's like having a crazy therapist to help you with your mental problems.
Yeah, or when we go to, I know I'm not saying the Western medicine isn't bad. The Western medicine has their chances. When I need my arm fixed while I break it, I have to go to a doctor and get it fixed, right? I would question mark more taking, pills and any kind of Western medication when I know, first of all, they're hiding my symptom. They really don't address it. And they may be creating other problems in my human body. And look at the advertising in the evening when the pharmaceutical industry does do advertising. They're talking more about what might be happen to you than what's not happened to you, right? So
I know. It's so funny that they have to do these disclaimers of all the side effects,
I know,
including
I know,
death. I know it should
I
be
know, I know,
illegal. The
I know.
advertising should be illegal.
And again, I'm not saying Samina is the ultimate healthy solution for everyone. Everybody's different. It starts with a positive mindset and actually starts with the positive thinking to really start spending a little bit more money. Think about it. Your body has a dollar value, right? So when we are born and when we die, there is, say, 80 years. And in this 80 year, my human body generated this much amount of income. And there is really a poor net value to the body. The government actually knows each human will pay so much taxes each year, right? There, we are for them nothing else than a number, right? They know when we go to work and we ship in the social insurance and we pay taxes on our earned income. So there's a dollar sign and our human body. I'm sure everybody will agree my human body is the most money worth in the world, right? I'm worth $5 billion or $2 million. Everybody can make his own number, but there will be a number and this will be for everyone a big number, believe me. While no one will say I'm nothing worth, right?
Yeah.
When I would be for sale today, I don't want to get 10, not 10 camels. I like to get a whole herd of camels, right? So make this magic number. What is your health worth? What is your body worth? What do you think you will generate? And put this dollar sign against the purchase of the next mattress. Use 10%, 5%, 1%. Everybody will be able to buy Samina beds. That's all what you have to do.
Can you tell the listeners more about, what you do and like where they can find you, where they can learn more about a Samina sleep system?
Yeah. So first of all, we have a lovely homepage, what is called justhealthysleep.com. It's justhealthysleep.com. You can also go to the brand page, what is samina.us. It's not .com, it's .us or .ca for Canada. And will lead us direct to us to meet in Claus and Denise Pummer. We do have a physical retail location in Pasadena, California, by appointment only, while I do take my time with my customers to really, especially when they come with their lists, to make sure I have plenty of time and there's no interference with my daily business or anyone else to look after you. While this is a very specific experience, I really want to give you my full attention and my knowledge about sleep. And then, of course, you can email us to sleep@samina.com and send us any sleep-related question you might have, any question about the product and any price-related question. The product, again, let's talk about prices a little bit. Depends what size we're looking for. There's, European sizes. They're slightly more cost-effective, especially when you buy my gorgeous bed frames. We do offer a whole full line of bed frames with organic oil finish in solid wood and 100% metal-free, what is a piece of art from master cabinet makers out of Italy facing the Austrian border. And I love these guys while they have the same upbringing than I do have. I'm a master cabinet maker, trained 25 years ago in Germany, so we kind of speak the same language. And I do a lot of design work now to design my own frames. And then, of course, we have we have the basic sleep system. What are the wooden slats, the rubber, and the wool topper that starts in a twin bed about $4,500 and goes up in a queen to $8,000 and the king about $10,000. And then we do have accessories, what the conventional bedding industry will not address and they will not really talk about it. It's the grounding pads. What we'll add is the 2 pillows and, of course, the comforter. The comforter actually is a really big deal. I don't want to miss this. And most of the comforter contain goose feather and down, what is absolutely the wrong product. They're full of house dust mipes. They don't let you breathe and remove moisture whatsoever. You're either too hot and too cold. You never have the right temperature. So I'm very, very, very picky now with the surface, what is covering us, to really make sure we learn more about the comforter and make sure we're buying merino wool. Merino wool has this fantastic benefits with cooling you in the summertime and keeping you warm in the wintertime. And even each night has this function, first cooling, then warming, cooling, warming. So this is, each person is different. Each person has their own furnace. I'm a very, most likely much more hotter person than my wife. She's on the colder side, but we get the same benefits under one big blanket. And then we sleep naked together. Very, very pleasant.
That's very important.
Yes. You want to keep you all in the same room. and have this very unique intact family life. What is your intimacy, and is to be with the person what you love the most of your life, and you decided to. And I also think this is also a responsibility for us. When you are a family father or a husband or you're a wife, you should address this issue. Then when you're both not on the same page and this purchase decision to buy a healthy mattress, to invest in this together, then I think you're irresponsible for your partner. While your partner sleeps in the same bed and you say, you know not, I don't give really a F what's happened to you. While I know already we have metal spring mattresses and they're 5,000 millivolt, but I don't feel like spending money right now. I think this is the wrong approach, right? We should be responsibility for us, for our spouse who is with us in bed, and even more when you have kids. Our kids want to make sure the parents are around and they want to make sure they see their grandkids and be aging nicely and we turn maybe 90 or 100 or older and really enjoy our kids. We spend so much time and effort with them to raise them with our ideas, what we have, and be a good example. And I think you should be, as a parent, a very good example about sleep hygiene and general sleep and making this stuff for your kids, while where they learn from is from the parents.
Well, your website should be sleepnaked.com, not just healthysleep.com. Well, that's the website.
And also there is a toll-free number, just for the record, when you feel free to call me, one of us will pick up the phone. It's 877-494-1091. Again, it's 877-494-1091.
So why don't you tell me about the holiday special that you have coming up?
Yeah. So we want to make the holiday more exciting for our audience, especially when you're considering this for a while already, to really finally invest in your sleep environment, in your own health. We for sure will give you the 2 free pillows with a retail value of $700 for the purchase of the basic system, what contains the 2 wooden slats, the rubber, and the wool topper. When you additionally will purchase the 2 grounding pads, we will extend our offer to a summer duvet on top on the purchase for a net value at about $1,400 for no charge for the Christmas holiday days when you place the order till Christmas.
So what do they get when they purchase the grounding pads?
When they purchase the grounding pads, we will give them a comforter, a duvet.
Oh, comforter, yes.
The bed size. So you will not pay for the pillows, and you will have no charges for the comforter, and you have 100% complete solution to really cover all the aspects of a good night's sleep. I think it will be a fantastic promotion, and I want to encourage people to make smart decisions for Christmas. While we are running out of ideas for Christmas, right? We maybe want to buy another car, what is nice, but you can postpone your car purchase, drive your car another year, don't go to the car dealer during the holidays, come to justhealthysleep.com, take advantage of this lifetime promotion we have, and really get a proper sleeping solution and start sleeping like a baby.
So if they want to go to a showroom and test it out or do a test drive, they can go to either Pasadena, outside of Los Angeles. You said Dallas, correct?
The Dallas is by appointment only with one of our functional doctors. It's a very nice environment to go as well. We also have a retail partner in San Francisco. The best thing is please contact us and we find the best way how to see this bed. Also, actually, what's happened very often when people are coming from the East Coast and you want to make this purchase decision, but you're not 100% sure, when you fly to Pasadena and you will make this purchase decision during the afternoon spending with me, we will reimburse you $600 for your flights.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. And do you have a showroom in Toronto, or did you just used to have that?
We had a showroom in Toronto. Now, unfortunately, I had to pull the plug on this one. My reputation on the Canadian market is so good, I don't need a showroom anymore.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, I was really blown away, like I said, when I went to the Bulletproof conference and I laid on this and just had this, heard the angels sing and had this aha moment, and my back pain went away. And so I just had to have you on the podcast to expose my audience to these beds that are truly revolutionary and can revolutionize your health as well.
Thank you again.
Yes. Well, Claus, thank you so much for coming on the show. That was so informative. And, All of my clients coming to me, the majority of them have problems sleeping. And even if they don't feel like they have problems sleeping, they could be getting a better quality night's sleep. There's just so many factors affecting our bodies today that interfere in getting that deep restorative sleep. So everyone, if you want to purchase the mattress, you can go to justhealthysleep.com. Be sure to use my promotional code Wendy to get 5% off your purchase. Very, very important. That 5% will save you a lot of money. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And again, go to justhealthysleep.com to learn more. And everyone, thank you so much for listening. You can learn more about me at liveto110.com. You can go check out my detox and healing program, mineralpower.com, where we address the 3 underlying root causes of health issues, which are toxins, metals and chemicals, infections, and energy disruption in the body. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Wendy Myers. Have a fantastic, healthy day.